Alright, today I've got a couple of updates here. I got some autographs in the other day, and I went to go put a letter in the box really early, and it's only it's not even 10 o'clock, and usually the mail on Saturday gets here around 12 or 1, so I missed out on that opportunity, but I got some good stuff. And then I wanted to thank somebody when I showed them this autograph request because they gave me the idea to write this person. And then I got a good deal on some envelopes yesterday, all different kinds. Some of these are weird sized envelopes you really wouldn't want to use, so it's a very tiny envelope. If you think of like a business envelope, here's a business envelope, and there's this one here. Very unusual sized one there. So you probably wouldn't want to use that for your return envelope, but that might be something you could use to protect your card in there, and they could put that inside there. So that would be a good idea maybe for that one there. But if I had to buy these at the Goodwill outlet, it would probably cost me like $6 for this. It cost me $2 for everything. Obviously, there's going to be some envelopes that are probably not savable, but all different sizes and varieties. I used one of these. I had to kind of unpeel it a little bit, unfortunately. See, some of these stick a little bit there, but that just, the envelope has never been used. I don't know, teehees, whatever that is, but it just looked like a good, solid inside envelope there. Hopefully the athlete celebrity are not going to worry that there's kind of a tiny rip there, but again, they've never been used, so those are good, nice envelopes there to use for return envelopes there. Again, $2 took this entirely huge stack there. I don't know what that would cost new, but yeah, so, and use those for small greeting cards and what have you, so that saved me some dollars there. One of the cards I was sending out today was actually from the junky football cards. I got the LCS. These basically are going to the wayside there because I didn't realize one was damaged and these people don't sign. So it's best to just get that stuff out of the way. This one came from, I forgot what state, Nebraska I think is what it was. Don't have the envelope right at the exact moment here. In fact, some of my envelopes got a little on the dirty side because I should have probably figured out because I had to I'd do something outside, and so they're a little on the dirty side there. But yesterday I got Mr. Ed Watt, or Eddie Watt. It says Eddie Watt on the cards, but he signs it Ed Watt. So I'm very happy to get those. Those are both eBay purchases plus send off because I don't have an LCS that would charge fairly for those cards if they had them. So I got those $1. This was an auction, 99-cent win plus a it was 99 cents shipping and a penny for the auction win. And then Eddie Watt there was I think $1 something for that card there. I don't really remember, but yeah, really cheap to get those in here. And then I had another success, if I can get to them all here. This one here is a 2-card success. I think the other one is going to be a send out to I want to say Chuck Vincent signs, but I don't remember. But I got Jim Weaver on a 68 Topps here. Jim Weaver on a 68 Topps here. So there's that one there. And I thought Chuck Vincent signed, but again, I don't know. But I picked this one out, even though it's off kilter here. It's kind of not like, it's like this, but the card should be like this. Not worried about it, very kind of, I forget what they called that, but that's what that card is. And then turns out I already had a Jim Weaver in my collection from '69, so even better. It's rare that I have more than one card of somebody, so very happy to get those. Very quick return. And then I want to thank Dylan, Double D Vintage Cards, because he was sharing his card story with somebody he knew, or what have you, and some sort of connection. And I found a dealer that had these for dirt cheap on eBay, and I was able to get all the cards I wanted. This was actually sent me, it says collectible supplies. It was sent into this. This was, if anybody knows why this was there, but yeah, so that was gifted to me. There's a big crease in it, but the cards looks like they came out perfectly mint. And if Dylan is watching, he'll know who this is. I believe this is the card he has in his background now, Bill Simpson of the Rams. NFC All-Pro. That's just an amazing, stupendous card. And I want to say that I got these just under $1 each, free shipping or something crazy. So there are more of them. And normally I only send 2 cards, maybe 3, but I never send 4. But I was able to get all of them. I went through every single of my 70s binders, 80s binders. I even had a 79 set, like 3/4 of the way done, and I didn't even have this card. So how crazy was that? And then I mentioned some other stuff about the Rams and a few other interesting things there. But I did mention Dylan in the letter. And can you believe I was doing a set build of these cards here and I didn't even have that one? I had the card that was the little one, like the tiny picture card, but I don't want to have people sign those tiny picture cards when the other 3 people won't sign, or 2 people. So there's that one from 78. So 79, 78. 77 I think was my favorite one, or one of my favorite ones. So there's that one. Again, I was putting a 77 together, didn't even have that one. And then here is a 80 or 81, maybe it was an 82. It's an 82, Bill Simpson on the Bills. So very, very cool, that one there. Very cool. Thank you, Mr. Simpson, for signing all those in very quick fashion and giving me this card saver, or actually collectible supplies, whatever that one is. That's very fun. I will hang on to that. I will not get rid of that. I don't know what I'll do with that, but maybe if my binder has a pocket, I'll stick that in the pocket there, and or just make a note. In fact, what I'm gonna do is probably save a piece of the envelope and throw it in there. So if this was a Nashville envelope, I can wipe that dust off. Or this one here, I just don't remember, Harrisburg. So it's one of these 2 envelopes, I believe, that I came in there. Very, very cool to have that. So awesome, awesome, awesome stuff there. So get through a couple of our hobby little things here. I was trying to do a COMC just to see what the possibilities could be. So I picked out the cheapest cards, you know, the 30-cent cards or whatever. Some ended up being 75 cents because I just said pick the whole page. I did not buy them. It was just a test there. It was going to be something like $38, almost $40 for the entire order. $17 plus dollars, or 22 if I wanted 20 or 22. No, actually it was $20 if I wanted it my order to come in June or something crazy like that. I have no idea. And then there was other options that were between $50 and $100 and some dollars if I wanted it pronto, for this 48 card order. So essentially what it was is that these 30-odd cent cards were going to end up costing me, if I had to make any money, I'd have to sell. Originally the plan was to buy cards for 27 to 30 cents and sell them for $1 a card. For me to make my money back, I would have to basically do $2 a card. That would be if people would buy all of them. So it's not a profitable situation there, because I wanted to, eventually think about, giving some people some cards, or giving some people cards, or selling cards myself that I think that people would want, that just don't have access to, because they're on COMC and the banded cards there. It gives me an opportunity to get the wheels going, move stuff that's been sitting, but also get people stuff that wouldn't even, and $1 to $2 a card is really not going to cut it. So, and then I look at other cards that might be more efficient. It's just the shipping, you want to get cards shipped, better value, more expensive cards shipped for the same price, not like 30-cent cards shipped for the big price. So it doesn't matter what you basically put yourself into. You buy a Joe Montana rookie card, they might get a better deal on that one than a 30-cent card that you can, again, 30 cents turns into 55 cents. With an additional 25 cents on there. And then that 55-cent card has to be sold for $1 or more, but then add in that additional $6 for shipping to that card there, and divide that all out. And it came out to something crazy like 65 to 75 cents would be spent for a card, and then I would have to basically sell that for, if I sold that for $1, that would be making, 25 to 35 cents on that card, and then I would have to do that all day long to pay for my table. So that would not be a good proposition, again, provided, but these are like numbered cards and things, so that's really interesting. But again, if I try to sell it for $2, they might sit, but if I put it for $1, then they probably would go pretty quickly. Not knowing what people are looking for. A lot of people are looking for non-sports and gaming cards right now, Again, you don't want to go to ComC and buy Pokemon cards because everybody has plenty of those cards there. You know, if I just set up a table and had a Misty card on there, and there's Misty, you know, in the pool, and I think there's like another character in that card there, that's a pretty good card. I don't remember if that's a $40 card, but that would stand out all by itself if you have it kind of, but unfortunately it's not slabbed or graded, so that might, you know, take the value down a little bit. But if I had it graded and it came back a 7, people would not want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, regardless if it's Misty. But there's people that would, you know, trick themselves into buying that card for $40, if that, you know, I think that was what it was going for. I don't really remember. It's been so long. So just that kind of stuff there. And then, like I said, I've been doing vinyl record tests recently. Nobody seems to care. But I went to the local record store, the LRS, or what do I call it? I don't know. LVS, a local vinyl store. And, you know, it's a good drive, you know, through Salem and back. And it's not a difficult trip. But there is one spot, you know, if you're going from this other direction, you want to be very careful because these cars have the right of way and you have to go across 4 lanes to get over there. But the good thing is there's another exit you can backtrack, and that works pretty well too. So if you miss that one, don't get in a panic and don't get into a wreck. Just go, you know, the one way, and then backtrack just a little bit. It's not a big deal at all. So I'm glad I thought about that exit, because I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'll just take the next one. Other people are going to panic mode, you know, oh my gosh, wreck, die, crash. So that's not something you want to do. But I went there and I found a record for $3 that's on Discogs for $5. And then mine had the brand new factory sealed. I took the plastic off, and it's all beat to ribbons here. You won't be able to see it, but there's a bunch of like kind of almost like on purpose dent marks there for some reason, like something went dun 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 like that, or something kept on dinging it time and time again. So it might have been laying something. Somebody had dinged it, and the plastic was torn right here. Again, so this doesn't have a lot of value. I just like the cover, and the music is okay. So I showcased that in the last video and showed a little bit of the music, but it's a low quality, so I don't get in trouble for, you know, copyright infringement sort of thing there. And then I also did a test on Discogs to see what I could get for, you know, the price of one vinyl record. So I have 11 records coming for $30. 11. That's really hard to do, and that even included shipping, because the thing is that many sellers are up to $10 or $12 for shipping one vinyl record of any kind. And so that's already a third of that right there. You know, once you get past that $6 to $10 benchmark there, then you're golden. As like I said, on ComC, the price keeps going up. But like a lot of vinyl record sellers, not to say a lot of them, but some of them, one was $6.50 for shipping, and then nothing increased after that. You know, they had tons of LPs and 45s for $1.50 each. I could have easily wiped out $100, and they said you could do that. They said you could buy 100 LPs, you know, if you wanted to. And that would have been very, very easy to do. And I would have easily added a crazy amount of vinyl in my collection. That would have been a third of what Goodwill charges. Because if they're asking $4, you know, and I'm only paying $1.50, and then the vinyl record show, the swap meet, the cheaper ones were $2, and then but this vendor had most of the same stuff that I was buying for $1.50 for $5. You know, I don't see why nobody else is jumping on that train there, but I guess maybe they have it good. That's one of the things that I take from a lot of videos here, is that a lot of people are very lucky to have, you know, really fancy sports card shows. They have access to vinyl record shows. They have access to dime box, you know, card shops all the time, and so they have access to things that, there's just things that they pass up on a daily basis that wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, and then people in my area are like diving on top of each other. It's like the vintage clothes. I found a spot that had vintage clothes. Now I don't see very much from that. Then there's a vendor at a swap meet that had some vintage clothes for $1 a piece, and people are like, why are you buying that stuff? That's kid size. I said, I don't care. I'm buying it because it's $1. I'm buying it because because the vendor's nice, and I'm buying it because that way he doesn't have to drag it home with him or give it away to somebody. And then also the thing about it is that it gets new stuff on his table next time. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, you know, because again, a lot of vendors are not very bright. I would say bright, but what they do is they put something on their card table or their, you know, or their merchandise table, and they'll use up an entire corner of the table for an item that's $1. And that wastes a good spot of their inventory table. I mean, space is a premium. Don't put something that takes up your entire table for $1. That's pretty dumb. But people do that all the time. But again, thank you to those people that signed autographs, Mr. Watt and Mr. Weaver and Mr. Simpson. Thank you for signing all my cards. I don't need to ever write you again. But that was just very cool of you to do that, put them in the card saver, and then I will check and see if Mr. Vincent signs, but if he doesn't, then I'm happy to have that one card all done. So hope everybody had a great weekend, and thank you for watching.